Good evening. Thank you for joining me here in the Passion Pit. This is my first video. I'm going to start off with a brief introduction, try to keep it short. First of all, how I got the name the Passion Pit. Well, I grew up going to the drive-in back in the 60s and 70s. And as some of you may know, the drive-in slang term was the Passion Pit. It also describes things I'm passionate about, mostly movies, collectibles, anything related, books. Also my format is going to be hopefully somewhat simple, not too long or anything. I'm going to start off basically talking about recent purchases or haulage or pickups, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to go in depth on any of those. I'm not going to do any unboxings. There's been a lot of unboxings. People do that all the time, and I love seeing them, but I'm going to keep the haulage to the shortest part of this video. Secondly, what I'm going to talk about is recently watches. That's going to be most likely the lengthy part of this video. I'll talk about what I've watched recently in the past week, give a brief synopsis, talk about memories of the ones I've seen in theaters, and then after that we'll be talking about collectible. I was showing some things on here that I still have left out, not packed in boxes. I plan on moving in a few months, so a lot of things are just packed right now, including movies, unfortunately. And then I will leave you with a most wanted title. These are movies that were maybe on DVD at one time. They have been long out of print. Movies that never been on DVD or Blu-ray, for that matter. So anyway, we'll get started here. My name is Eddie James. I'm in Pahrump, Nevada, originally from Los Angeles, California, movie capital of the world. And I want to talk about a lot about theaters. I went to a lot of theaters, a lot of drive-ins when I was a kid, and I loved going to the movies in LA. Unfortunately, it's not the same experience anywhere else, so I don't really get to the movies too much anymore. But anyway, we'll do some more introduction later on in this video. Hopefully I don't sound too bad for this first one, or too nervous, or too much like Snuffleupagus. Anyway, so we'll get into the haulage, and we'll start off with this first one here. This is called From Hell It Came. It is a Warner Archive Blu-ray. Love the Warner Archive. They do some really good stuff. They don't do a whole lot of special features on their discs, but the movies always look really great. If you're into killer tree movies, this is the one to get. It says right there, Tree of Terror. I've never seen this movie before, but I have heard about it, so I'm looking forward to getting that, most likely for the Halloween season coming up. Next up is Carbon Copy. This is from Shot Factory. This was recently released. I saw the preview for this a long time ago at the theater, and to be honest, it looks really bad. It really does. I haven't seen it, so I really can't say, but the preview didn't look good. But I love Denzel Washington. You can't go wrong with Denzel or George Segal. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I don't imagine it being very funny, but still, you never know. Okay, and recently I got into Vegas. Went to a Savers, which is basically something like the Goodwill or Salvation Army type store, and picked up a couple there. This is Dimension Extremes Inside, the unrated version. I've never seen this movie before either, but I love the Dimension Extreme stuff. And looking forward to this one. And for $1.99, you really can't go wrong. Also at that same store, the same day, I picked up Jerry Maguire. This is DVD, special edition. It's loaded with special features. Now, this is available on Blu-ray, but again, for $1.99. Brand new, still sealed. You cannot go wrong. So, and, I don't mind getting DVDs. Not everything on DVD is ever going to go to Blu-ray. So, and to be honest, a lot of them look just as good. You'd have to do a side-by-side comparison to see really any difference. Though there are some bad-looking DVDs. And then, from Amazon. Now, these are all picked up in May and June. And I'm going to be probably doing at least 2 or 3 videos a week until I get caught up with my recent pickups. So anyway, this is the Rock Hudson Screen Legend Collection. A lot of people don't like Rock Hudson. Now, I grew up on classic films, on TV, and I like Rock Hudson. A lot of people don't, but I'm not going to get into that. This has 5 films from Screen Legend Rock Hudson. The films are Has Anybody Seen My Gal? A Very Special Favor, The Golden Blade, The Last Sunset, and The Spiral Road. Again, I haven't seen any of these before, but I'm looking forward to getting into these here. Also from Amazon on that same day, Ordinary People. This one I saw in the theater many, many years ago. I walked out of it really hating Mary Tyler Moore. It's kind of a depressing film, and I haven't seen it since it came out. I think it was 1980. So I'd like to give this a rewatch, try watching it again, see how my opinion has changed since that time. Okay, on to the next 2. These 2 are from the Screen Archives. They were having a sale on their Code Red titles back in May. And the 2 I picked up were The Cheerleaders. This I haven't seen either, but I do love exploitation flicks from the 70s. This is Code Red, spine number 21. 21, okay. There are actually 3 cheerleader films. There was this one here, the first one. And then I believe the second was The Swinging Cheerleaders, which I have from Arrow DVD, Arrow Video. And this one here, Revenge of the Cheerleaders. This is Code Red, spine number... What doesn't come through very well, does it? Spine number 28. There we go, okay. Haven't seen these either. Now, these were on DVD from Anchor Bay. Actually many years ago. It came in a digipack with 3 discs, and I wish I had it. Didn't pick it up when I had the chance, but I'm glad to have these on Blu-ray. Anchor Bay was a really good company at one time. Probably one of the first to start off on a lot of the exploitation stuff, horror stuff on DVD. And then they merged with, I believe, Stars. And ever since then, they pretty much went downhill. And the last one I'm going to show you today is a movie from Kino Lorber. This is called 7. Now, this film here, I saw many, many years ago. Maybe 1978, 79. Let's see if I can see a date on here. Okay, 79. I saw this in L.A. at the Culver Theater. Now, the Culver Theater, I grew up going to. I have a lot of fond memories of that place. It is still there. It's no longer a theater. It is now called the Kirk Douglas Playhouse. And I believe the show, maybe concerts, maybe some plays, live performances. Not exactly sure, but the building is still standing. It still looks the same. And I've got a lot of stories about that place. Now, before the term grindhouse came about, I would go there. I believe it was Wednesday nights. Double features for $1. And I saw a lot of 80s movies back then. A lot of the horror stuff, a lot of the TNA stuff. A lot of movies. Thing about the Culver Theater back then was it was kind of a dicey place. You had to go in there arming yourself with something because people got nuts in there sometimes. It was really crazy. Also, if you had a popcorn or a soda, you didn't want to set it on the floor because it was infested with cockroaches. You'd be sitting there in your seat, watching the film, and on the row of seats in front of you, you'd see a cockroach crawling along the back of the seat, going across. So you know if they were in front of you, they were in back of you too. So many times you got the heebie-jeebies in that place. But still, a lot of movies came to LA. They didn't go anywhere else but the Culver Theater. And I said for $1 for double features, you couldn't beat it. So anyway. But anyway, 7. This got William Smith. Love William Smith. And this was one of the titles I had been wanting for many, many years. Finally got it. The thing is, you want these titles, and then when you get them, you don't watch them. I always thought that was kind of strange. I mean, I will watch it eventually. I want to watch it. I'm looking forward to watching it. But you don't unwrap it and throw it in the player right away. So, anyway, so I'm really glad to have that. That's a great movie. Hopefully it's as great as I remember it. Most likely it isn't. I was in my... God, I was 18 back then. So a lot of years have passed, and I probably won't feel the same way about it now that I did back then. But anyway, I love the grindhouse stuff. I love the horror stuff. I will watch anything, pretty much, at least once. I don't stick to one genre of film. I do love horror. Horror is my favorite. Comedy is my least favorite because there's so many bad ones out there. Action films, love the action movies. I love classic films. I love the old black and white films. Like I said, I'll watch anything. Sci-fi, westerns. I love westerns. I grew up going to the drive-in seeing John Wayne movies back in the early 70s. And got a lot of fond memories of the drive-in. The drive-ins are cool. So as I watch these movies, again, I'll go into more of memory time when I watch movies that bring back a certain memory or of a certain place. So anyway, now we're going to get into what did I watch this week. Well, when I was growing up and going to school started in September and got out in June. And that's the way it's always going to be for me. That was my school year. Here in Nevada, kids get out in May. They go back in August in the heat of summer, and that's just awful. So anyway, what did I watch this week? I thought I'd do this, have like a mini marathon. Didn't watch them all in one night, but I watched them throughout this past week. The first one is Final Exam. This is from... this is Shout Factory, or Shout Scream Factory. I also have this on DVD from, I believe, Scorpion Entertainment. I don't have it available right now. It's packed in a box. And I think the only difference is, on the Scorpion DVD, it has Katrina's Nighttime Theater. I think she introduces the film on that one. But this is pretty good. I love the slasher movies. Like I said, back in the 80s, I saw a lot of them. I didn't see this one in the theater. But this was okay. It wasn't great, but it was entertaining. Next one I watched after that was Synapse Films Prom Night. This is a special edition. This has Jamie Lee Curtis, Leslie Nielsen. Now, this one I saw in the theater back in 1980. Saw this one at the Culver Theater. Don't remember what I saw it with. I'm sure it was a double feature. But The one different thing about this slasher film is that, without giving too much away, is when you find out who the killer is, you kind of feel sorry for that person. Um, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, slasher movies, the heyday back in the 80s was a great thing. Then I watched, this is Vinegar Syndrome's Graduation Day. First time watch. This was pretty entertaining also. And it's got a couple of interesting kills in here. One of the actresses, I can't remember her name right now, and it's not on here, but I've read about her on the IMDb. She is married to Ron Perlman, which I thought was kind of neat, I guess. She didn't do a whole lot of stuff, but she played a lot of monkeys, which I thought was kind of funny, in different movies. So there's not a picture of her on here either, just point her out. But this would be her here. The second one in here with the X on her face. They all have X's on their face, I know, but she's the second one here, little brunette. And so that was some interesting information on that actress. Okay. Also, what did I watch this week? Being that this is June, I try and have like mini marathons pertaining to things that go on that month. And since June is wedding month, I watched Our Family Wedding. This was pretty funny. I enjoy culture clash films. This has a Hispanic girl marrying a black African American guy, and how their families clash over the whole situation. Culture clash films are pretty fun. I enjoy them. Gung Ho is another one. And, of course, I'm going to go blank and not remember anymore. But this was pretty good. Here's a little tidbit. Forrest Whitaker is in this. He and I went to junior high school together at Webster Junior High in Los Angeles, California. So we weren't like great friends or anything, but we talked all the time and we knew each other. So, like I said, I'll watch anything, and including chick flicks. I do watch those. A lot of them I like, some I don't. Also, with this month's theme of weddings, I watched Bachelor Party. This was a first time watch. Amazingly enough, I never saw this in theaters. And I saw a lot of movies back in the 80s, but I didn't see this one. But this was actually pretty good. I mean, who would ever have thought that Tom Hanks would be in a TNA flick? But there he was. And Tawny Katane, you cannot go wrong with Tawny Katane. She's very, very cute. But this is funny. I highly recommend this movie. If you're into wedding comedies or TNA comedies or comedies in general. So this is pretty good also. And then for Father's Day, I watched Mr. Mom. This is from Shout Factory. This is part of their Shout Select line. This is spine number 28. This I saw in the theater with my ex-wife when it came out. Again, this is like a fish out of water story. Michael Keaton is forced to stay home and take care of the kids while his wife goes back to work. Let me mention this. I have 3 kids. My eldest, he is going to be 37 in a couple of months. My middle child just turned 30 a few days ago. And I have a 3-year-old who I take care of during the day, at night sometimes. My wife works. I'm a stay-at-home dad right now. Where we live, there's not a whole lot of jobs, but my wife has a pretty good job here. So, And I will say that being a stay-at-home parent is probably one of the hardest things I have ever done. It is not easy. It lasts more than 8 hours. You don't get to punch out and go home. It can be very, very trying sometimes. 3-year-olds are set in their ways, and they want what they want when they want it. But it is rewarding. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And I will give a shout out to women who do this with more than one child. I don't think I could survive with more than one child at a time. But it's an important job, raising a child. It's you want to raise a decent human being and do the best you can, and hopefully you don't make too many mistakes along the way. But this is pretty funny. Fish out of water story. I recommend this in here too. But yeah, Terry Garr is in this. Michael Keaton, Ann Jillian, Martin Mull. Got a funny story about Terry Garr. Actually met her in person one time. I won't go into that one right now, but I'll save that one for a later day. Also this month, every month I ask my wife to pick an actor or actress for me to watch their films. And this month she picked Paul Newman. And what this does, it gives me an opportunity to break away from the normal things that I watch, horror, sci-fi, action, westerns, and watch other things that I have in my collection I do want to get around to, but I end up watching them sooner. And recently I watched Exodus. This is from Twilight Time. And I love Twilight Time. They're another great company. This one doesn't have really too many special features on it. But the soundtrack by, I believe, Ernest Gold, that theme song is awesome. I love that theme song. And this is a very, very long film. It's over 3 hours. And it's basically a historical film about right after World War II, how the Jewish people were trying to get back their homeland, and what the decision was on that, and all the strife they had to go through to finally get back. But it was a really good film. Actually, it gave me some information that I didn't know about, historically wise, but it's not for everybody. I mean, it's very, very talky. There's very little action in it, but I'm a big fan of epics. I love the epic movies, especially from the 60s. There's some great ones out there. And I do recommend this if you've got a lot of patience for long films that are somewhat talky. So, okay, well that's basically concludes my watches for the week, for this past week rather. There are a couple other things in there also. Now I'm going to go through a couple of collectible items. And this was given to me by my wife and 3-year-old son for Father's Day. It's called Life Lessons from the Duke, John Wayne's Way, by Douglas Brody. I guess that's Brody. And what this is talks about all John Wayne's films individually. The life lessons whether he tried to do personally through the film, I'm not sure. I haven't really got into it yet. But I do love John Wayne. John Wayne is up there in one of my 10 favorite actors. A lot of people don't like John Wayne because of his politics, but I don't watch movies for an actor's politics or their beliefs or what they do behind closed doors or how they are in their personal life. A lot of people also don't like Jane Fonda. And I just don't really get into that because that's not why I watch movies. I don't care what a person's beliefs are. They believe what they want to believe. I believe that everybody should be able to. I'm looking forward to getting to this. And actually, for this year, starting back in January, I'm trying to watch every single John Wayne film that is available on DVD or Blu-ray. A lot of them I've already watched throughout the past years. So I'm trying to fill in the holes of the movies I don't have and watch those. And then next year I'll start with another actor that my wife will pick for that year. But I will go into some of his films later on in other videos. And we'll talk about those. A lot of them I have seen in theaters. A lot of them I haven't. Next cool collectible is this adult coloring book called Kill Time Coloring. It doesn't mention Jason or Friday the 13th, but we all know who that is. My wife got this for me. Again, I don't know if it was birthday or Christmas or Father's Day. I'm not really sure. Don't remember right now. But, and I haven't colored any of these because I wanted to find me a nice box of colored pencils with many, many colors in it before I actually get into this. But, yeah, it's got some cool pictures in here. So, and my last collectible I'm going to share with you today is from a movie called Mark of the Devil. I believe it was 1970. And these I got off eBay many years ago now. This is called a vomit bag. And I've never been to a movie where they've actually supplied these, but I hear that they did. And I was probably too young to see some of these films where they supplied these. Actually, I know I was. I must have been maybe 9, maybe 10 when this came out into theaters. And there's no way my parents were going to take me to see this. But this vomit bag and the price of one admission will enable you to see the first film rated V for violence, Mark of the Devil. Positively the most horrifying film ever made. See it soon at a theater near you. These are kind of, I guess, like wax coated paper bags. Like I said, I got them off of eBay a few years ago. There's 2 of them. And they're really cheap, so there's probably a lot of these out there. But had to pick those up. I do have the movie. I have it on, I believe it's Blue Underground DVD, and I also have the Arrow Blu-ray. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I have to get into that one again. And I believe I have gone through everything that I want to share with you today. I do these late at night. The wife's in bed. My 3-year-old's in bed. He's asleep. So I have some quiet time to myself. This is the time I watch my movies and make my lists and go through movies I want to get, movies that I have, do all my own personal things with my collection. I wish that I had shelves up with rows and rows and rows of movies that I could share with you, like a lot of these guys do on here. I don't. A lot of my stuff is in boxes. Unfortunately, I may dig some stuff out to share on here over the next few weeks. But like I said, I'm getting ready to move, and the house is just in disarray at the moment. And actually, right now, I don't even know where we're moving to. We were going to move to Helena, Montana, because I want my son growing up in a place that has the 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, fall. Here in the desert, all you get is heat, and more heat, and then cold and more cold. There's really no in between. There's no spring, there's no fall, and there's no greenery. It's very, very brown with dead trees and sand. It's very depressing. But I want to get my son out of here. That's primarily why we want to move. But anyway, we cut this video off now. Hopefully I can impart some wisdom and some entertainment. And like I said, hopefully I don't sound too nasally. Hopefully I don't come off that way. But anyway, thank you for watching my first video. Hope these get better. Hope I don't sound too much of an amateur. But anyway, I want to say goodnight from the Passion Pit. And if you like the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. Doesn't really matter. If you don't like it, leave me a reason why. That's cool. That'll help me improve. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first video, and I will work on making them better. Thank you so much.